Welcome to a new episode of Talkative with Ahmed. I'm your host, Ahmed. And as you know, I film outside and inside the studio with my production partners. This relaunch of Talkative with Ahmed is in partnership with one of the most talented, passionate, and trustworthy production house in Dubai, Arcast Studio in Media City. By now, you know, if you follow Talkative with Ahmed, you know that I rely a lot and I trust them a lot. Trust is something that is very important in my life, but also when I launched Talkative with Ahmed, because I host or I co-host with people I trust a lot. And when I say trust, I trust their passion, their journey, the lessons they've learned, and the things I learned from them. One of the individuals, one of the persons I admire most in Dubai is a girl, a young woman that I have met, one of the first I've met in Dubai when I moved here. And as cliche as it sounds, COVID was a blessing for me. But when the world was changing, I had to come and accept a new reality for my existence here in Dubai. Without the people that loved me, supported me, and they were very genuine and very generous and real, I couldn't have made it today. She's an inspiration. I'm so proud of her, and I'm honored to call her a friend. And not only a friend within the industry, which is an industry that's very difficult to make. We have connections, but do we have as much good friends? Her journey is inspiring, and that is why she is here at the studio. I tried to beg her a few times because she was very busy, and I know she was busy, but she always finds time for me. So today in the studio, my very good friend, a creative manager, a consultant, a curator, an art collector, an art connoisseur, my very good friend, Astrid Lesuisse. Welcome.
Wow. Thank you, Ahmed. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
It's an honor. And everything I said is from the heart. And maybe this is a window for me to welcome individuals that their journey inspired me a lot. And Talkative with Ahmed is all about inspiring stories.
Yes, exactly.
From the studio at Arcast to the people I meet.
And you do it brilliantly. And again, it's an honor to be here. And I'm taking it all in, what you just said. It's beautiful. And it's a teamwork at the end of the day, right? And we will talk about that.
And we actually work together.
Exactly.
So we will know more about this. But before I dig deep in all the questions and the things that I want, and it should take us hours for us to, take a glimpse of your journey, right? Especially the journey that the career that you've built and the name you've built here in Dubai. In a few words, who is Astrid Lesuisse? The first chapter of Astrid Lesuisse.
Right. Astrid Lesuisse embraces a lot of things, but I have been here in the UAE for the past 6 years, working as an independent consultant and artist agent. So what I do is that I promote and support UAE-based artists in their growth, increasing their visibility through what I like to call emotional connections to global audiences. And I work with 3 key partners, galleries, collectors, and commercial spaces to develop original concepts for exhibitions, events, collections, to help them grow the name in some competitive markets, but also to, share their identity, their true DNA through art, and at the end also of the day to reach economic growth.
Incredible. And you know why I say incredible? Because you are extremely creative and artistic, but also extremely businesswoman. Like, you are a real hardworking agent. And that's why I say, if someone asks me who's Astrid, I say agent, curator, creative manager, also more than an agent, because I know how you treat your artists and the artists you work with. Before coming to Dubai, let's go a bit back 7
Yeah.
years ago. What was your beginnings as Astrid, the artist agent?
Well, I would say that my art journey really began at a young age. I remember when I was a teenager, I was living and studying in Paris, and I was going to art galleries and museums, and I was also taking my brother and sisters with me, and they were not particularly into the art world. And to be very honest, they were my toughest critics, at the time. So I was taking them there to share stories, about artworks, to introduce them to artists. And when I said that they were my toughest critics, because I remember they were the kind of people to say, I can do that. Like, if this is art, Astrid, I want to change my career.
and this is a tough call, because in I've studied in France, and I know that art is in every curriculum, in every corner, in every school, in every Paris.
Yeah.
Is a public art city,
Yeah,
right? It's
definitely.
literally everywhere.
Yes.
So it's very difficult not to be interested into.
Yeah, it's true. When you think about it, I mean, France is one of the oldest and most established art scenes in the world, and it has centuries of history. And it's actually very interesting, and we might get to that point when you compare it to the UAE art scene, which is much younger, much more emerging, but at the same time, it's rapidly growing.
Yeah.
And it's very forward-thinking, and this is one of the many aspects of the country that I have very much admired and that I have very much embraced, this, out-of-the-box thinking, and it's always reinventing itself compared to some older Western art scenes and ecosystems that maybe sticking to the old-fashioned approaches to the art market.
And that's very honest of you, right? Because we know that the scene here is growing, but there is the difference that we are seeing every day is that although here the rhythm is slower, but the appetite for renovation and innovation is so fresh and rapid.
Yeah.
While if you go to certain societies in the West, it's becoming like, oh, we've seen it, we had it all, right?
Exactly.
And one of the first thing you did, which is something unbelievable, and if anyone is watching or listening, if you haven't been to this place, we will talk about it now, and she knows very well. You have to, because I hope everyone gets give you credit for what you did because you just said something about cultural spaces and galleries, but also commercial. For you, thinking outside the box, and you want to bring arts to the mainstream.
Yeah.
And you did this with a hotel in Dubai, which you use a term, a hotel, an art,
art destination.
Art destination. Tell me more about Hotel Indigo in Business Bay and your journey there, because I know you're very proud of it. That's amazing. What we can witness and how the idea started.
Well, let me tell you a little anecdote about this, how it all started, because I think this can be quite an inspiring experience that I have lived through. So I remember that was 2020. I was working with a gallery in Dubai, and I was their business development manager. So I was really curating different collaborations to spread the word out there, to increase the awareness of the gallery. And at that time, that day, I was curating a collaboration with Chef Middle East and some of their most talented pastry chefs, because I also love to explore different forms of art, different forms of expression, and create original synergies. So I was in the middle of this activation at the gallery when a gentleman came in, a visitor of the gallery, and of course I acknowledged him even though I was busy. It was very important to me to come to him and invite him to take a look around. And as soon as I had a free moment, I went to him. We had a nice chat, very inspiring one, until he handed out his business card to me, and then he introduced himself as Mr. Jitendra Bhatia, the late owner of Hotel Indigo.
Yes, bless his soul. Bless his soul. I know he was someone important for you.
Yes, exactly. And this is how the whole journey started, where Hotel Indigo became a whole white canvas for me. And we took on this adventure together.
And what was the first idea he had in mind? Is that he just wanted to introduce art? Because you did something more than just adding art. You did something brilliant.
So his vision was really, as an art collector himself, he wanted to make art more accessible to a wider audience, which is definitely my mission, what I strive to do, to achieve every day through my work. So that's how we really connected as well. And you know how the city really offers these encounters where you meet and
It's a bit.
it clicks.
It's the
It
biggest,
clicks.
most exciting transit, I say. In
Exactly.
Dubai. It's like when you go, you know, the excitement when you transit and you're on holiday or an airport. You just have few minutes in this airport or sometimes hours.
Yeah.
But then that transit takes you places.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it's only the matter of like one specific moment. You're at the right time, at the right place, and you need to seize that opportunity. But you might not know about it yet, because when this visitor came in the gallery, I didn't know who he was. But at the same time, as you know, acknowledged him, and we had this
Professionalism, because you acknowledged him
conversation.
and you know, and you
Exactly.
you took that opportunity.
But that's something that I do also, that is very much part of my DNA, you know, like never to be different with whoever I have in front of me. I never change, you know, I consider everyone, I treat everyone the same. And that's something that I have come to realize that it's not the case always when you go to some galleries.
And that's your you say something that I love a lot, is that your net worth is
Your network.
your network.
Yes, exactly.
And your network, you can only build it by this attitude, this
But-
positive attitude, this very receptive attitude.
Exactly.
And Hotel Indigo, I'll just go very good, because you created
Yes.
also an app.
Yes.
Like literally, you can you have an app, guys. I don't think that exists. I never tried it. I never heard about it, and I still feel so excited when I.
Yeah.
And this is your baby, right?
Yes.
And it's your legacy, because it's still there and will always be there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so that was actually the, how can I say, like the cerise sur le gâteau, you know, the cherry on the cake, because the vision really was to curate a collection that would connect with the audience, you know, art connoisseur, but also curious minds, people that would not necessarily dare to go to an art gallery on their own. So it was really about educating also people on what's the art of the region, because all the artists represented in the collection are from the region, from Jordan, Lebanon, the UAE, Syria. It's very eclectic.
Yeah.
So then going along this vision, I wanted to make it, you know, like quite a immersive experience where every guest would be able to download the app and then do their own tour, just like in a museum. It really became a museum collection where they can listen to audios and really truly enjoy the stories behind each artwork and each artist. Because at the end of the day, this is what I do every day in my work. I share the story of artists.
Well, congratulations a million times. And the collection is there. Anyone can visit actually and see one of your early works. One of many after that.
One of the biggest, I would say, as well, because I dedicated 3 years of my career to the hotel and making it what it is today.
Incredible.
Thank
Really.
you.
Wow. And speaking of artists and emerging, and honestly, for someone who came from a background which is not in the Middle East, of course, naturally, you came here during almost COVID. So also there was less interaction or opportunities to interact, right? And probably art was something helpful, because art is some, you know, we used to wear masks, but we go to galleries, and we were lucky to be in Dubai. Do you remember these days? But you're also very respectful and very mindful of the local culture. In fact, you're one of the agents or curators that you work with Emiratis more than anyone else.
Yes.
More than people that they've been here for 20 years.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this connection of cultural engagement and dialogue. And how did you find yourself so at ease of actually using your dialogue and your background and your experience into being mindful and understanding, and from there you collaborate with artists?
Yeah. Well, you know, like building a relationship of trust with an artist is something truly special. Understanding their vision, their emotions, their ambitions, and translating them into opportunities. This is something that I find incredible. And coming here to the UAE, from my background, like working with galleries and other entities back in France or in Canada, like the Western side, I thought that it was important to immerse myself in the local culture because I was very grateful to be welcomed. I felt very much encouraged, and also when I travel abroad, even still today, very often I get the question, how is it to be a woman in the UAE?
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
how
It's
is
incredible
it
how
like,
still this question actually,
yeah,
one of the first question actually.
yeah, exactly.
I'm from the Middle East. I'm from the GCC, and still when I go around, I was like, how is it with this? Sometimes almost like, how is it? I mean,
Yeah, they
you know,
wonder because like people tend to have prejudices, and
absolutely.
I don't blame them because even myself, when I first got here, like I also myself had my own prejudices, right? But then when you live here, like you understand, things, and I can say that I'm very grateful, first of all, to be a female professional in this industry because actually it's funny because last month I was invited to speak at a talk at the Dubai Mall, and the topic was women in the arts world. So very much relevant here, and I was very happy to say that I'm grateful to work, as a woman, because when you look at schools, the highest percentage of students in art schools are women, either to become an artist or an art professional. But then when you look at the active world, they actually represent the lowest percentage of active professionals and visible in the
And actually,
industry.
we have a friend in common that we talk about this all the time. Actually, there is less art sold in all art fairs around the world by women to women.
Yeah.
Because even women collectors, they buy male, which is different.
Yeah, exactly.
Important and dangerous number, actually, stats. So
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go necessarily into the numbers because that would require some research, some data. But from my personal experience across the Arab Gulf, I feel that it's remarkable how women are represented in regionals, galleries, exhibitions, public art programs, and even myself. I was, like really grateful like a few years back when one of my very close contacts working at Dubai Culture recommended me for the Golden Visa. For me, that was...
Congratulations. And I
Thank
remember very
you.
well that it's been 2
Right?
years already.
Yeah. For me, that was, a recognition of my work and my contribution to the cultural growth of the country and how I was immersing myself within the local culture and bringing something to its growth, from my background, from where I come from,
Of
and
course.
my expertise that over the past 2 years, as an entrepreneur has truly expanded across different formats. And I'm very grateful for that.
Totally.
I have learned a lot.
You actually did public arts projects.
Yes.
You did in art galleries. You did in hotels. You did with institutes. You work with institutes. And we actually worked together.
And we did.
We
yes,
did. We
yes.
we always wanted to work together. We supported one another, and we always been there for one another. But then one opportunity came, and I think we worked together. We worked for. Tell me, tell me about it. We'll.
Yeah, like I remember very well because I was so grateful. So you actually reached out to me to work together on this project, and I felt so grateful because a lot of the times people tend to look at each other as competitors when I look at each other as collaborators. I feel we are stronger together. We go further together. I mean, you know me and you know that I am a true believer that while we can accomplish so much on our own, we go much further together. And so that was the time when you contacted me for this project that I found really exciting because it was about integrating a piece of art into a commercial space, a local art piece, into a commercial space, accessible to everyone. And I strongly believe that art belongs to, in our everyday lives. It belongs everywhere we go, we could encounter art. Again, as I said earlier, to explore alternative spaces to traditional galleries and make it.
I think this was also a very good project for your own emotional connections. You talk a lot about emotional connections, and I think also I remember when I told you really loved also I think we can say it. We're proud.
No, of course, yes. Sorry,
it was Nespresso. It was Nespresso through a friend of ours, and the Nespresso around the world. All their new renovated boutiques, they introduce local art, so something inspired by local artists, and I think we wanted Emirati artists, and the first one.
Such a
success, and then we worked again.
Exactly.
But speaking of collaborations and how, because we've been asked this question all the time, is that how artists, how they can grow, right? But it's thanks to people like you, okay, who have a certain business appetite and business connections that they can take an art and take it to a public space, a very commercial space, right? A retail space. But I want to thank also Nespresso, who worked together, is that they allowed themselves to think beyond a retail concept. So it wasn't architecture, it wasn't a piece of marble. No, it was an artist. And this is how the industry can grow. Collaborative spirits. You were open to collaborate with me. They were open to collaborate with us, and they were open to listen. And I think we need this more.
Exactly.
We lack this in the region, or generally speaking, right? Because we always wait for a gallery to, there's so much galleries that they can help, right? But it's so beautiful when you take, and I know for you it means a lot to bring art into the not unexpected places, but places where art is still seen as not as a decorative object, like in hotels, for example.
Exactly. But there's a whole mastery on how to make it happen, so that it doesn't fall into decor. And it's true that exactly, because there's a very fine line between the two, art for decor, art for its intrinsic value. And this is the reason why lately, actually, I've been sought after more and more by luxury brands or public spaces to integrate art into these everyday spaces with the right narrative. It's all about the right synergy. Identifying the right artists that will be able to translate the values and the DNA of the brand or of the entity through their practice, through what they are renowned for, what they do. And then it makes a big difference, and also the way it is perceived by the audience.
There is something about your experience and expertise, right? Because you're not only a curator, right? But you have a cultural understanding, but also almost an eye of an architect, because you really love spaces. Be it an apartment, a mall, a parking, a hospital. You love these challenges, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it a gift that it's a gift, like a blessing, or a burden for someone who works, because you have to convince people who doesn't maybe sometimes relate to art. I've been invited to a project that you've been working with lately, and thankfully it was a project that started as a, pure curator, consultant, and a collector, and it grew into something better. But that was, you got maybe a bit lucky with the. But if you are working with institutes and spaces that they don't see art as an essential expense, okay, how do you convince them? What is it that makes it challenging, but also that makes it actually an adventure for you? Because you do, right? I'm not. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're right. And I mean, as I said earlier, it started at a young age with my brothers, sisters, where I really realized at that time that I had a very natural ability to share my passion and to ignite it in others. And even those not necessarily particularly into art yet. And this gentleman you just mentioned actually is a great example, because he is one of my close contacts and a real estate investor. And he was never really into art because he never like had access to it. And this is something that I get a lot when people come to me and they start being curious about art and they tell me right away, but I don't know anything about art. And this is when I reassure them by telling them that they don't need to have any knowledge to appreciate a piece of art, to connect with it so that it resonates with your sensibilities. And that was actually the case here, where he was coming to a lot of my events and exhibitions. I was always inviting him, and, out of curiosity and also for networking. And little by little, he started appreciating art, and feeling like, okay, maybe I too can, do something for myself. So then when he acquired his apartment in Dubai, in the Marina Harbor, he thought that was the right occasion, to explore the art world and to build his own personal collection.
Yeah.
So that's how we collaborated.
And he was actually very proud of your relationship, because I feel that he was like, oh my God, how come I never knew this world that you introduced?
Exactly.
But it was all about trust as well. Because
Yes.
I think you talk many times, you spoke about your emotional connection. And I think it means a lot to you. I don't know if how everyone understands the importance of that, because I think many curators or gallerists or they struggle to build that connection,
Yeah.
and it creates a gap, and that gap is it becomes bigger, and probably from maybe a promising collector, they would be a further distance from his or her dream to collect. But that's connection
Yeah.
is extremely important. And you did many exhibitions in 6 years.
In 6 years, yeah, true.
How many
It would be
exhi-
hard to count them.
How many
all.
exhibitions? You know that I tried to look into your Instagram just to remind myself the ones I could make it and the ones I didn't. And actually, it's impressive.
Thank you. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad. And you did participate in many of them, actually. You
Yes, but
attended.
Absolutely. Which exhibition you still remember that was maybe the most, that,
Oof.
yeah, if you can. I
Yeah,
can
no, of
understand
course,
that
of
all.
course. Well, it would be, tough to pick one out of all of them, because each and every one of them, each and every project that I curate is so unique, because, I'm all about the original thinking. It has to be quite innovative, and also because, as you know, the art world is ever changing. It's very unpredictable as well. So you need to adapt to change, and you need to also like reinvent yourself all the time. So, there are quite a few exhibitions that are very dear to my heart. One of them was a collaboration with another entity in gastronomy. I guess I'm a foodie, while I'm French, but
Yeah, exactly.
but that was with another selection of incredible pastry chefs, where they drew inspiration from fine artists as part of the collection at Hotel Indigo to create their own sculptures made of 100% chocolate.
Oh, that's so nice.
And that was just incredible to see their own interpretation, and to mix fine art and pastry craftsmanship.
This is very French. But
And I guess that's where I bring my French touch.
Right. This is where you know.
And this really left a lasting impression on
course.
any visitor's minds, and memories. And I think this is what art is all about. It's how you offer an experience.
Yes, your openness is probably one of the things I love about you is your openness, because openness means opportunities, but also means growth, but also means humbleness, right? Because I think sometimes in the art scene we have many would be stuck in a character, right? Because that character fits here, not there, right?
And you need to be true to yourself.
Oh, but we are very mellow. We go with the flow, right?
Exactly.
It's actually surprisingly, we know some people that they think, oh, you're friends with this person or you're this person, but you're friends with, and that's, I think, our...
But because, again, as I said, we're true to ourselves. Like, you don't change according to the person you have in front of you. And I think that's the beauty of it. And that's a true strength.
Yeah.
And I feel that this is something that has contributed to my career growth, because, as I said, every project is different. It's very unique. And for me, it's very important to get to know the person behind, deeply. So with this private collector, for example, it took me time to really get to know him, his background, his story, his journey, his sensibilities, his taste, so that the collection that I would curate for his personal home would feel deeply personal. And that's why, I mean, as you said, that was a very rewarding compliment after living there for some time, when he came to me and said, like, oh my God, Astrid, like, I cannot imagine now living without my art pieces.
Incredible.
You know, so at first it was not even something he would have ever considered. And now it's something that he cannot live without. Because it has an impact on his life, on his well-being.
Amazing.
So that's something. It says a lot.
Right? It says a lot. I wanted really to talk about this because I've seen it. Right, I've seen it. I've talked to him. I got the opportunity to meet him and talk to him, and I've seen you, and I've seen the connection and the almost romantic story behind it, which is really this is everything you fight for every day. Literally, you fight for it. Is that, you know, introducing art to someone who, and the same thing you do it with all the other projects.
Yeah. Exactly.
You are someone who knows very well Basel, both Basels. Or actually all Basels, because you've been to Basel, Paris, and you've been to Basel, Switzerland,
Miami,
and you've been to Basel, Miami, and Basel's coming to Doha, and I hopefully we will be together.
We will be together, yes.
So I'm very excited. But 6 years ago when we arrived here, we had Art Abu Dhabi, Art Dubai, Sikka Festival, World Art, which was affordable art fair and became World Art, right? Very institutional, I would say, fairs. There was galleries here and there, and there was Circal Avenue. 6 years later now, we have doubled the galleries in all cities. Louvre already opened, and then we have Guggenheim's opening next year. Frieze is becoming to Abu Dhabi, Basel to Doha.
So much.
I mean, it's so much downtown design, and you know, it's sometimes you need 2 seasons to finish one season or to see everything. I said that just not because it's a calendar. It's not like, you know, Dubai calendar or UAE calendar or GCC. But how do you see this? Okay. And the first question is, how do you see this impacting your industry, your sector, your profession? And what do you expect from someone who can write a book about Basels? What do you expect from Basel Doha?
Wow. Well, I don't know if I would be the right person to really say what to expect at Basel, because even myself, I will be there to discover, to see how they are making it happen, you know. But it's definitely something that is exciting and to look forward to. And I'm actually very happy that I will be there and with you. That's even more exceptional. But I feel that it's incredible how there's some sort of a shift, you know, towards this part of the world, you know, this region. And it's amazing because, as we were saying earlier, like, people tend to have lots of prejudices about the country and the region itself. And I feel that this is like a great spotlight on the richness of what the region has to offer in terms of talent, in terms of vision, you know. As I said, they are very forward thinking, and I feel that we have a lot to learn from them, you know? So I cannot wait to contribute to these projects and initiatives.
You're already contributing.
I am already. I mean, there's like certain things that I cannot disclose yet.
I know. I actually said that because I wanted you to say it again, but it's still not, it's too soon. Well,
too soon.
You think I know too much. But yes, but I'm...
But yeah, it is rapidly growing, as I was saying earlier. It's rapidly growing, and I think we're at the right place at the right time to be able to really contribute to that growth and to also like witness it, you know.
A big gallerist from New York I've met in a private event the other day, and he's not young, and he said, this reminds me of New York in the early 60s, where New York was, everyone was having a judgment about New York, and he said, no, it wasn't about security because it wasn't safe, but all the big galleries and all the artists, they were making New York home where it is today, and they believed in it. And he said, I felt the same energy everywhere I go to Dubai. This is big.
Yeah, it is big to say that.
We know that big galleries in New York shut down, and, you know, I think also fairs abroad are not doing as they used to. But I think, yes, you said the right moment, the right place. And I think hearing it from him, and he said, you know, really, I felt the same energy. It's young, it's inclusive, it's open, and he said people are believing at the time and the place, which he said sometimes, unfortunately, he said, I go to places, they said, of course, London is doing well, of course, Basel's doing well, but people, they don't believe in it anymore. They just take it for granted,
Yeah.
right? I think
Yeah,
we
you're
don't
right.
take it for granted.
Yeah, no. We need to have faith
Yeah.
always.
One thing you told me as well, because we talked about you being open to projects and, you know, the openness, right? But also you said something about the art of saying no,
Ah,
right? So the art of saying no.
yeah.
In your industry, what shape the art of saying no, and when do you say no? When do you reach someone who is this approachable like you, and the art of saying no, and also I want to know about adaptability,
Yeah.
right?
So, I mean, when I say the art of saying no is because during my 2-year journey as an entrepreneur, I mean, I have faced the challenge to, you know, like be everywhere and do everything. And you can't. I mean, you know, unless you can duplicate yourself. And maybe someday we will be able to clone ourselves. And
I don't
that would
know.
be amazing.
I hope I'm not going to see that day. But I can understand.
Wouldn't you want you to clone
No,
yourself, Ahmed?
absolutely. I don't want anyone to be cloned. It's just keep it the way it is. No, but I understand that, yes, we will.
I
mean,
mean,
our memories are already online, right?
yeah, and yeah, right, true. But I mean, you know, have you ever felt like overwhelmed with a lot, you know, happening, which is amazing, actually. It's very positive, and it's one of the many aspects that I love about a city like Dubai is because it's very stimulating, and everyone that comes to Dubai have, you know, that energy, that passion, that vision, you know, they are willing to thrive, you know, and I feel this is a very positive energy that is very nourishing, and I'm very much aligned with that energy myself. But it does also come with the downsides where you feel you have to be everywhere and you know, at the same time. But again, as I said, you cannot duplicate yourself, and your time is not extensible, or how do you say? You cannot extend your time.
You can't extend your time. Yeah, you don't have to.
So,
absolutely.
But at first, because obviously, like the more you grow, the more your reputation, your work succeed, and the more collaborations you get, the more projects come your way, the more requests, which is wonderful. But you need to prioritize, you need to be selective. And at first it was a challenge for me to say no, because obviously first you don't want to disappoint, and you don't want to miss out on an opportunity as well. But at the same time, you need to prioritize. And at first I thought it was like a rejection of people.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's more of a protection of people, their time, your time, energy, and also so that you can be a true added value.
Yes.
Because why saying yes if you cannot be 100% sure that you will dedicate the time that is needed for the like the completion of a project?
Maybe it shows as well sometimes for some people who think, oh, you're too available. So when you're not available one day, they will take it, you know, as an insult.
Yeah,
it happens.
Right. Yeah,
no?
Right. No, you need to find the right balance.
Of course.
And of course, there's a way of saying no that I have learned. I mean, I'm always open to find alternatives, you know, like to recommend a fellow colleague, you know, that could be the right fit for the project or for the request. Or maybe to say that I cannot commit at the moment, but I would be very happy to reconnect later, you know, and to explore the synergy at a later stage. So that's something that I have come to learn, and the fear of missing out, obviously, you know, when you are invited to quite a few events on the exact same night.
I suffered that maybe when I had a full-time job, you know, we also worked for ourselves for a while.
Yeah.
The first year I suffered a bit because really I thought I'm not someone who has a FOMO, but I did, because there were so many good events, and we built a connection, and we don't say no because we were building our, you know, relation with the industry, and it was an industry also post-COVID, so it was also an industry that opportunities were not lining up, and I had this FOMO a bit.
You want to be part of the community,
and then I learned how to say no. And
exactly. You want to build that community and be a part of it, right? But again, as I said, you need to prioritize, you need to be selective.
Someone with your experience now in the region, in the art world and in everything you do. What do you think? Because we are very positive people, right?
Yeah.
But we have to find something. I mean, nothing is perfect. And thank God nothing is perfect. The scene in the UAE, okay? What does it miss at the moment to grow, to evolve, and to support the creative industry as a whole? If you have to have pillars, that these pillars are missing, and it would be nice, not missing, or maybe we need more in that area or that area. Because now you can form, I think, an opinion about that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I can mention my two founding pillars, which we already mentioned, you know, like transparent communication and mutual trust. But I feel that this is something that is part of the ecosystem over here, compared to other Western art ecosystems that may not be that open to collaborations, that may not be that straightforward or transparent. So I feel that we've got that here, which is amazing. But then when it comes to something that is lacking, well, there is one thing actually I have always wondered, is there an art school, or is there the project of an art school
I was waiting for someone to say this.
You know, educate, I mean, the country's own talents and keep them here to keep growing the art scene, because very often I hear Emirati artists traveling to study abroad, and then...
In fact, you remember we talked about that. I think Zayed, and I always salute them, Zayed University, the Emirati artists who graduate from Zayed University is something else.
Yeah.
And I think it's very promising. Then you have other universities, etc. But I think this is a good example that actually, for example, festivals or events like Sikka, Art Abu Dhabi, most of the Emirati artists and many females are very good. And when I ask them, they say we graduated from Zayed University.
Exactly.
So and I with other guests, I was waiting for someone to say everyone says, of course, we need more spaces, more galleries, more fairs, more events, which I don't know how they can do it. I mean, you can't go, you know. But I was waiting for someone to say we need more very specialized schools, like, you know, the National School of Art or the Conservatoire, or, you know.
Yeah, because it's all about education. So you need to be able to nurture your talents, and to make sure that they are nourished and they have what, you know, what they need to be able to shape the cultural fabric of the country.
Absolutely.
And not to take the risk that they go and don't come back.
Yeah, exactly. But talking about institutes, so we know that Abu Dhabi, they will have soon will have Guggenheim. We already have a Louvre, Sharjah Foundation. Yeah, we have Jamil Center. But the launch of Dubai Museum of Art, Duma. You've heard about it, right?
Yes, I have heard about it.
I mean,
I've seen the news.
It's incredible, isn't it? This is fantastic. I hope with Duma comes like the Institute of Duma for school, a bit like, you know, the Metropolitan, or and
they may be connected. I mean, that could be something to explore for sure. We're giving away some creative
and also
ideas.
It's made in Dubai because it's Dubai Museum of Art, right? It's not a brand, I would say, not a franchise. By the way, Pompidou, I think they will open a branch in Saudi.
Oh, will they?
The news I've read.
Wow, interesting. Okay,
it's very interesting.
They're close now for renovation, and maybe because they're cooking up something else.
Cooking up something else. I think it's, Google it, it's there. Where do you see yourself as an art connoisseur, an art businesswoman in 5 years from now? Where is it? There is a project in mind that you say, okay, I want to reach that maturity and authority to be able to do something like this, or to reach that point. I don't know.
Well, Ahmed, I feel like this is the typical interview question that everyone hates.
Really?
Where do you see
yourself?
Oh my
God, I never
5
asked
years?
it before, but because I know you, and I can imagine how many ideas you have in mind.
Yeah, too many, I guess. But it's very hard for me to say because I'm very much in the present moment. And actually that allows me to tap into that point, because I feel it's becoming more and more difficult for people to really be connected now, like to really be in the moment. Everyone has, so much on their plates. They are all like very busy. We all are very busy, especially here where, like it's very stimulating. So I don't know if it has ever happened to you where you are like having a discussion, at an event, but you feel the person is physically here, but the mind is elsewhere, because the mind is already about tomorrow and my to-do list, So.
And I think it's one of the things that you notice a lot in Dubai, because it's a city that has so much forward thinking and a vision of tomorrow. And but it's changing slowly, because many people, they call Dubai home, so they chill.
Yes.
As you said, now you actually, the art of saying no is part of this as well, right?
Yeah, right.
You go to an event, you engage with the event, and then you wait a bit until the next one.
And you don't rush. And it's true that like when you say yes to everything and, you go to all of the events, like you're never really there. Like you need to be able to commit. And I'm someone who like I stand by my words, so if I say I'm, coming to you, I'm truly coming to you. And because I want to connect, I want to support, I want to be there.
That is very
It's
true.
not like, jumping from one place to the other. So that's why it's difficult for me to answer your question about, like the future, because for now I'm really building what is now and what I feel I excel at and I can bring into the picture, and what society may need, at the moment.
Amazing. I asked this question because I know that the answer would be.
I will sneak around.
Yes, exactly. I never asked it before, but someone who think outside the box, okay, but also as we change nowadays, we went from virtual galleries to galleries of the future to the future of art space. How Astrid see the future of art space, or how do you see the arts would be interpreted? You already started with a hotel, you started with other institutes, etc. But do you think the format is changing every day? Do you think the format of presentation of art space is going somewhere different than we are now, or it's?
I mean, it is definitely evolving, and we did mention, the intimidation when it comes to encountering art. And one of the reasons could be because of the way it is displayed, the white cube with the high ceilings, the signages everywhere, do not touch, you don't have that connection, sometimes it may feel like a certain barrier. So I do feel that this is evolving. And for example, in my journey, I've been always exploring different ways of sharing the story of artists. And for example, recently I have collaborated with 2 incredible partners in terms of featuring artists in a digital way, offering a new platform. So one of them, for example, is Canvas. That is a 360 community.
True. I always forget how special the
very
space is, but you're
immersive.
totally right. Yeah.
Yeah, so we did curate a show together featuring a beautiful Lebanese artist based here for the past 16 years, Christelle Bishara. So that was a beautiful way of showcasing her work in a very immersive approach to further connect on a deeper level, with her work, and to have access to the creative process, instead of looking at a piece of art on a white wall. Sometimes it's not easy to really know what it takes to create a piece of art, the behind the scenes, and to really deeply connect. So that was one of the ways, and it was a beautiful show. And the other partner I've been collaborating with is Elevision, that have those incredible screens.
I asked this question, but I forgot that you're already there. Yeah,
So,
congratulations on
thank
Elevision.
you.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing because, as I said, I truly believe that art belongs in our everyday life. And Elevision has these digital screens across different districts, the IFC, D3. And this is a beautiful collaboration that offers people on their everyday life to connect with an artist, to see the
And I
behind
thought about
the
you the other
scenes.
day
It's a
because I was in
glimpse.
the elevator in Design District, and I was like,
Oh, you did?
I know her.
So I think this is, one of the new ways of communicating about art, also for artists.
Congratulations on
showcase
your
their work.
forward thinking and adaptability.
Thank
Sorry
you.
to interrupt,
Thank
but
you.
it's really it's congratulations on that. You're probably the only one I know in the industry that's that's always ahead of everyone, but also very inspiring and very modular.
Yeah.
When I say modular,
Adaptable.
you're adaptable, but the
Sure.
modularity in the space, in the way you see things, and you really think of art as something like you protect. You know, you want to bring art to public spaces,
Yeah.
to a space that you can't imagine that art is there. And I congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
I know you're working on some projects that's still secret, and I can't wait. You know, I know you're traveling soon, and I know you're very busy, and I'm so honored that again you found the time to come
No, of course,
to
I wouldn't miss this,
to the
for
studio.
anything in the world.
Thank you so much. And one last thing, if you want to say about our industry, about your career, about artists, a message to an artist, a message to someone is really something. This is
Yeah.
you who dictate the last few beautiful, precious moments of this interview.
Wow. No pressure.
No, it's more freedom,
Of course.
but could be something as well. You know.
All right. So what you're expecting here is like a takeaway,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What I would say, and this is something that we have discussed today together, to remain as authentic as possible. I think nowadays people look for authenticity more than ever. And I think this is what will allow you to really build meaningful, trustworthy relationships that will last and that will take you where you want to go and that will help you grow how you want to grow, and that will also help you reach greater heights, because art is an incredible ecosystem where each professional has a key role to play, whether
Yes.
it is the artist,
The photographer,
the
catering,
curator.
the
Yeah.
space,
the gallery,
the gallery,
agents,
the production company that's film artists and curators
exactly,
and yeah,
the collector as
the
well.
collectors.
I mean, it really is a complementary relationship,
Yeah.
and it's very important to acknowledge that and to value that. Everything has a role to play, as something to bring to the other, and together we support each other and we amplify each other. So I would say authenticity is key, and I believe that this is one of the things that stand out in my work. I hope it is. I think this can really drive success.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ahmed.
Thanks a lot. Happy season. We're about
Yes.
to kick the season.
We are
and
actually in full swing of
in
the
full
art
swing of the
season.
art season, actually, yes. And I want to thank you again. All the best in all the projects on your new journey and new adventures. You will do great, and we will see you doing great. You can follow Astrid Lesuisse on Instagram for all your stories and all your projects. Follow Talkative with Ahmed, Arcast Studio, the production house that I work with for this lovely setup and lovely production. Thank you for watching or listening to Talkative with Ahmed, and I'll see you next time.